Welcome everyone to the Healthy Habit Podcast, episode 218 with the amazing Stacy Faulkner, and I'm your host of the program, Dr. Dayon of Healthy Habit Medical Center, located right inside Healthy Habit Health Foods. And on this episode, we're picking up where we left off in episode 216 with Stacy Faulkner, and actually that was 214, where we did a part one introducing mental health awareness. We recorded these towards the end of May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. But what we're talking about applies to the entire year, right? It's just a good topic starter. So, Stacy, I'm excited to dive into this one, but let me give a quick intro for all the new listeners here. Stacy's worked in the natural health industry since 2000, and as a national educator for Emerald Labs, which is the additive-free company we'll be highlighting here today, Stacy provides insight and understanding to those seeking information regarding better health through proper supplementation and self-care. So welcome back to the program, Stacy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Doing well? Well, that's good because this is an
The
important, we have an
day is
important,
going by very quickly, and
I know,
so
right?
very
Yes.
important topic, like you said, especially since we're hitting the end of May. I know this is going to be broadcast after May, but we're really trying to take note of the importance of this month and really give awareness, once a month. But like you just said,
Yes.
talk about mental health awareness, year round about not just supplementation, but there's an avenue with Emerald Labs formulas that will give you, perhaps it's a support that somebody may need for whatever may be going on with a mental health issue or disorder, or just feeling low or a little anxious, etc. There's a little bit something that could really approach a lot of people that are clinically backed with these ingredients.
Right. Yeah. And in episode 214, we introduced this topic, but we covered B vitamins, why they're needed for mental health support. Super important episode where we covered how they play a role in neurotransmitter regulation, anxiety, depression, GABA, serotonin, dopamine, balancing all these hormones and neurotransmitters, and even the Cerebral Calm formula by Emerald Labs, which has the 4 ingredients, the chamomile, magnesium, the GABA, and the theanine, correct? I
Well,
nailed them
send
all. I have a good memory.
and I
So
actually
let's
got
pick
that
back
wrong
up.
last time on glutathione. I
Give,
was like, why would glutathione be in this? I kept thinking,
right.
like,
So give us a quick little reminder of these products. We'll kind of segue then into
mhm.
NAC and elevated mood formulas here at Emerald Labs. But we can pick back up where we left off. Anything we might have missed that you wanted to re-highlight from the Be Healthy and the Cerebral Calm?
Yeah, sure. So quickly, I think what we're going to address to your consumers, obviously we have a part one, but addressing part two, what we really want to cover is letting the consumers know, or the listeners know, that there's several different avenues that you can approach for mental health and well-being, or whatever you may be facing. So, like you said, we're covering the Be Healthy, which is an overall everyday nutrient complex that everybody needs to take daily, and that's going to support your neurotransmitter production that we're talking about, also adrenal support that can really affect the brain as well. But also the cerebral calm that you just touched on. Then we're going to go into the elevated mood, and then finish off with some N-acetylcysteine highlights of why Dr. Stangler and some is recommending it to his patients, and then why it's really kind of a hot topic as well, of what N-acetylcysteine can do overall from like head to toe. So with the cerebral calm, we did touch base, like you mentioned, that we've got the GABA in there, which is a neurotransmitter that's for calming, the excitatory stimulation. We've got the albion magnesium in there, which is also good for calming. We have the phytonutrient in there that we're using is the Roman chamomile. And then lastly, the patented L-santhine, which is working with the brain waves, or the alpha, beta, delta, the gamma brain waves, without really making somebody tired, but maybe really calming. It does assist with sleep. You will not wake up, groggy and all of that.
Yeah.
But what I really wanted to talk about was chamomile. The studies have come out that it's very well tolerated. And if people go back many, many, many years, chamomile tea has always been used as far as a calming agent. It's really well tolerated. It's got pharmacological activity that's been shown. Also, the chamomile has been really researched for general anxiety disorder. And so when we're looking at something that can be well tolerated, whether you're going to be taking it through tea or in a supplement form, just know that we're looking at providing these phytonutrients in some of these formulas to kind of prevent what's going on with people's idea of taking a pharmaceutical or also trying to avoid those side effects of like habituation,
Yeah.
forming a habit that are normally associated with conventional drug use, and or withdrawals or whatever. We're also for the whole liver health, I think is really
Oh
important.
yeah.
So we can look at supplementation to avoid, that excess work that the liver has to do on top of taking pharmaceuticals, on top of our food, our water intake, the oxidative stress that we garner every single day. So less work for the liver is always important. And so phytonutrients, I think, are really important where Emerald Labs has come out and Dr. Singler has addressed the phytonutrients and specifically the cerebral calm, calming down the excitatory stimulation in the brain.
Absolutely beautiful highlight from the previous episode, and then even the Be Healthy formula, which we've used a lot clinically for people, even used it myself too. So, and it's not a drowsy formula, correct? Just remind
Correct.
us of the Cerebral Calm. You can take that, let's say, in the morning before work.
And I do. I like to take the elevated mood and the cerebral calm right when I wake up. And
Yeah.
the reason is I'm a poor methylator, and so I'm always needing extra Bs. Like just kind of, I have to be very careful and be always inclined to take the coenzymated methylated Bs and more glutathione, more alpha lipoic acid. So things like that with as far as this whole thing with the phytonutrients and the B complex that we're using in these new formulas to curb um, what people are facing, either anxiety, depression, OCD,
Right.
ADHD, etc. Just
Love it.
mental health and noticing your whole overall balance and noticing your baseline is really important too. Like, what's your diet like? What's your exercise like? What's your sleep quality like? What's your workload like? What's your family life, etc. And so knowing your baseline and basing that and having, self-care with that, but also knowing at the end if you need supplementation that's got some phytonutrients that have been studied with clinical science, that are going to do what they say they're going to do instead of perhaps going on the sideline of a pharmaceutical.
You're nailing it. That's why one of the hashtags under this video, you can use up to 3 in YouTube videos, is holistic health,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not just, and that's why I love having you on, because you're not just saying, oh, take the Cerebral Calm, that's all you need. We always mention nutrition and exercise and overall stress management. So it's super important to add these in addition to just taking a new formula, right? So let's
Yep.
switch gears to the
Mhm.
elevated mood formula. Why is this one going to be different from the Cerebral Calm?
Okay, so cerebral calm, just that. Again, calming the excitatory stimulation, but really the monkey chatter in someone's brain. If you're waking up in the middle of the night, you say meeting adjourned and nobody's leaving the table. This is excitatory stimulation, cerebral calm. When we're looking at elevated mood, this is only
Yeah.
two. Okay, this is patented. Both of the ingredients are patented. So we've got the Afron saffron at 28 milligrams, which is clinically studied for the results in the abstracts that we're looking for to achieve, or the consumers would want to review and look at. With the 28 per two capsules, so it's one capsule at 14 and one capsule at 14. You can divide those up one and one throughout the day, or you can take a straight shot at two when you believe you need it. Um, so with that, it's essential ashwagandha and the patented Afron saffron. Afron saffron is pretty amazing ingredient. It is the saffron, the crocus from the saffron flower. The potent compound, the antioxidant compounds are called crocin and saffronol.
Okay.
Saffronol. Right? So that's what people would be looking at, like, how does this help? Okay, so we're looking at really modulating the neurotransmitters, like the levels of the brain neurotransmitters, the neuro our mood regulators, say. We're like easier thinking. Neurotransmitters are mood regulators. So we're looking at the Afron saffron, which is patented, that is modulating the neurotransmitter level. And so that phytonutrient is really potent. And so basically what we're looking at is it's really effective for general anxiety disorder, which has been studied overall. Okay, so this is one of the studies from the abstracts. Also, helpful with decreasing insomnia and decreasing the anxiety. So when we're looking at all right away, this Afron saffron has been studied for like really several different things. But one of the things that might be surprising and not surprising to me or probably yourself is for menopausal women and perimenopausal women. So we're looking at the highs and the lows of the of the hormone levels. And so this Afron saffron has shown that really kind of balance them for somebody that may be experiencing highs and lows.
Right.
So another thing for this Afron saffron, increasing the mood, decreasing anxiety, but also we found out is the youth, the teenagers, like up to 16, I think 12 to 16, starting to show kids like what that have you know um, social phobia, over anxiety, kind of little jumping beans.
Right.
This is found to kind of reduce that kind of effect. So being a huge antioxidant, I think is something for everybody to understand when, and it's antioxidant, in this case, the saffron, we're looking at combating that oxidative stress. And so oxidative stress has been completely shown to contribute to or create inflammation. And so that's going to contribute to, because that can really impact brain activity, because it can contribute to anxiety, the inflammation
Right.
contributes to brain activity. So the abstracts I thought were really informative too. Like it can calm feelings of impending doom, and I think I just like to say that because that was so fascinating to me. So if people are having multiple feelings of impending doom, social phobia, insomnia, um, increased anxiety, in a decreased mood, they may really want to look at this patented Afron saffron. And so that, like I said, the studies have been shown at being very effective at 28. And our Emerald Labs is combined with the ashwagandha, the sensual patented ashwagandha. So again, this is an adaptogen. So we're looking at adapting to the person's level of anxiety, mood, depression, whatever's kind of going on, and adapt to that accordingly. So I think this
Wow.
product is this raw ingredient combined with the sensual ashwagandha, the studies have shown that it improves within a 4-week study, just the mood in overall healthy adults. And then the other study is showing in the youth and into the teenage youth up to 16. So these studies are clear. People can look them up on, obviously they can Google, they can look up, right? Like you always have pointed out, the AI is um, it's very good to be able to read because it substantiates what it's saying with the references as far as referring to their studies.
I like how like short and sweet the formula is. We don't always need to have 17, 10
Right.
plus ingredients in formulas, right, to get good clinical outcomes. And
Yeah.
it's just one and two with a little tocotriene complex.
Yep.
Um, and it's just straight to the point. You only need 28 milligrams of
Hmm.
saffron because it's so dense, right?
And you know
Stay.
what? I'm so sorry to interrupt you. We
That's
did
right.
have a label change here. It is now 2 capsules because we had some
Oh,
label change.
okay.
Now, the 2 capsules will equal
There we
28.
go. This one says two.
Okay. So I'll note that for the changes here. So
Yeah.
it's 2 capsules will be equal to 28. So if somebody wants to just take one when they wake up and then one maybe, before they're going to grab a cup of coffee between, you know, 12 and 2, I think that's really important. I'd like to point that out also, Pam, with the B vitamins, is grab your B complex, a good B complex, or grab an Apron Saffron, an elevated mood before you grab that cup of coffee, because a lot of times, as beneficial as caffeine can be for a lot of people, it can also be really detrimental as far as a crash and then sinking their brain activity.
Amazing. Yeah, so it's there's tons of research you guys can look into on saffron, especially this specific registered trademark version of it. So thank you for highlighting that, and then the sensory ashwagandha as well, which includes the withanolide glycosides. That's like the active,
The
effective
component.
agent in ashwagandha producing all
Mm.
those benefits is the withanolides in there. So
And
thanks
good
for
to point
breaking.
that
What's
out.
that?
And thank you. Thank you for pointing that out because as the
Yeah.
listeners learn about Emerald Labs and they start to really learn about label reading in the supplement facts box, I want the listeners to be very confident that we are listing everything broken down so there's no question. Why
Right.
is ashwagandha important? Because it's containing this flavonoid, right? The oligosaccharides, right? Oligosaccharides.
Right.
It's right. And so we're showing also when you see the Afron saffron, we're showing them where is it coming from. There could be a lot of different, like berberine. It can come from different things. It can vibrate. There's bergamot. There's different ways and different avenues that people can create extracts or put it in the formulas. And so with Emerald Labs, we're showing you exactly what's going in there in the form that it's specific to the form. So you can easily research it, look it up, ask your naturopath, why is this in here and why
Right.
about that. And so I guess that takeaway for Afro and Saffron right away would be that it increases the mood, it's reducing anxiety, it's managing your stress, it's helping you manage your stress. But again, when we talked about earlier, your baseline, you've got to know your baseline and you've got to manage that. Diet, exercise, sleep, those
Yep.
top three. Good supplementation, and then whatever else is on the side. Are
Yep.
you into yoga? Are you into, spiritual enlightenment? Are you, that kind of stuff? What makes you feel good? Gardening? Are you bike riding? Things that are just kind of going to lift your mood no matter what. And then, of course, the elevated mood, I think, will kind of substantiate that and bring everything to a good balance.
Right. As the name suggests, cerebral calm is just
So
kind of
easy.
relax the nerves, relax the mind, adapt to stress, elevated mood. Does a little bit of that as well through the ashwagandha, but then also that saffron is really going to just be actually combating low mood, specifically depression type symptoms. Uh, yeah, just brooding thoughts, not
Other
good
thing, yeah.
thinking. And
Another thing is as a
yeah,
takeaway, and it's like really, I want people to think about their teenagers. I want moms and dads to think about their teenagers. If teenagers are listening to this, or anything you know about your own mood, or you know somebody about that, it's been very highly studied for the teenagers between 12 and 17, especially if a lot of them are internalizing their own symptomology. We
oh
have a
yeah,
lot of these young people that are self-diagnosing these days. I need to be on Adderall. I have been hearing this over and over and over. And so those are peers talking to each other. I'm on Adderall and I do this. So I want there to be uh, I want that people to have, parents or teenagers to have, create more dialogue amongst themselves or amongst the circles of the teenagers to let them know that there are phytonutrients out there that are clinically backed and are going to do what they say they're going to do without any kind of negative impact on the brain or the liver or masking, a personality, if you get
right.
what I'm saying there.
100%. Yeah, you explained that perfectly well. And then in this last like tail end
Mhm.
of the interview, we're going to be highlighting NAC. So I appreciate that breakdown of B healthy, the B vitamins role in mental health regulation, the cerebral calm formula with the magnesium, theanine, GABA, and chamomile. Then we just did the elevated mood. So all for specific reasons. There we
Mhm.
described. So I suggest you check out part one and then the rest of this episode as well, just to get caught up with everything and understand all the different angles you can tackle mental health support. And then NAC, which is it's a supplement, comes from the amino acid cysteine. It's a
Mhm.
precursor to something known as glutathione. People have heard about glutathione, a powerful antioxidant in the body. NAC it's a known antioxidant, anti-inflammatory agent, but a lot of people know it for liver health,
Mhm.
detoxification, and maybe the lungs and pulling out mucus and things like that, respiratory issues, helping with breathing. But so the stage is yours, Stacy, on NAC for mental health. Let's hear that angle about it.
So people will always hear me talk about N-acetylcysteine head to toe. Okay, head to toe. It is good for so many different things, like you just talked about liver. It's neuropathy. We're talking about just neurodegenerative disorders, just like we've seen a lot of success with studies with Parkinson's, dementia, stroke, multiple sclerosis, which we seem to really be stepping up with,
Yeah,
more MS showing up, which is crazy as an autoimmune disease, and then diabetic neuropathy and neuropathic pain. But when we're looking at mental health, and then like you said, the respiratory disorder and respiratory health, also it's good for I think PCOS and sperm quality and also glutathione production and liver health. It's actually known, I think, over in Europe. I think it's a pharmaceutical, and it's a pharma. It's not a pharmaceutical. It's a pharmacopoeia, whatever. It's recognized not recognized as a
yeah.
neuropharma. What am I trying to say there? That is
No,
recognized.
it's
It's a
used. Yeah, it's used
neuropharma.
like a pharmaceutical.
Yes,
That's
yes,
how
and
powerful it is. That's how
it
strong
is
it is, but
that
without all the side effects.
Yes, and so without the side effect, which is amazing. We
Yeah.
need more of that kind of stuff approved over here. But we have such a great supplementation nationwide as far as manufacturing, that's going on in the right way with doctors that are formulating these formulas that are, result driven. And I think that's really a good takeaway for consumers that makes sure when you're looking at supplements that they're doctor formulated, that they're using ingredients that are clinically backed, with the science, that they're going to do what they say they're going to do. You're not going to waste your money, and that they're fair-minded price, and that they're additive free. Super important. Additive
Yeah.
free, free, soy free.
And by the way, I'll add something, Stacy. Remember, we were saying it's used pharmaceutically a lot by doctors in Europe and other
Yes.
places as well. That's usually it's used to treat poisoning from Tylenol, acetaminophen poisoning.
Acetaminophen poisoning,
So
huge.
that's where NAC is used a lot clinically by
And
the conventional system.
yeah, and that we do have a lot of deaths here in the United States with acetaminophen poisoning going through the liver and all of that. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are unaware of that, of what it can contribute to the liver poisoning and how quickly somebody can go down. And that is as easy as taking your Tylenol PM every single night. And if one doesn't work, you wake up and you take two. Then if you have your headache or your migraine, you're taking your ibuprofen, your acetaminophen, or whatever, that
Right.
acetaminophen. So this is a huge issue. Then if you're in pain, you're taking your acetaminophen. So that's no joke. People, listen to your doctor here. Acetaminophen poisoning is a big thing, and it can be easily corrected because there's no now really clean ibuprofen recognized or made by what, Genexa. There's
Yeah.
clean alternatives that are in your health food stores that can help with as natural analgesics, etc., inflammation, etc. So okay, enough with that. N-acetylcysteine, when we're talking about mental health, I'm
Yeah.
talking about the psychiatric disorders that are going to appear like schizophrenia, bipolar, addictive behavior, obsessive compulsive, so OCD, etc. So this is huge because N-acetylcysteine, the NAP, has been shown to really curb these kind of these behaviors or these psychiatric mishaps. Okay. So when we're looking at depression and psychiatric mishaps that may be affecting somebody, Dr. Stengler has provided, and these are available for people who look up an abstracts, provided a 2 month supply of a vegan N-acetylcysteine, one capsule per day, 600. So like you said earlier, precursor to glutathione production, head to
Yeah.
toe support for all sorts of things, respiratory, liver, neuropathy, etc. Okay. Preventative maintenance for neurodegenerative disorders. But what we're talking about here for depression and psychiatric issues would be, abstracts clearly say at 1200, two upon wakening, empty tummy. That's how I like to do it. Empty tummy, two upon wakening, starting to curb the symptomology of depressive thoughts,
Yes.
depressive symptomology. Okay. So clinically studied, it's out there at two. Okay. Then what we're looking at for curbing, like things like ruminating, addictive behavior. I like to say like things that are driving that dopamine rush,
Right.
getting somebody, and that could be, it's not just drugs, alcohol, pharmaceuticals. Let's think about that dopamine or that ruminating. Is it driving fast? Is it sugar? Is it gambling? Or is it something like, I got to get home, or my kid wants to wake up earlier, stay in bed later, or my partner wants to get home earlier and not really want to discuss anything or
Right.
converse because they want to play the video games. The video games are a huge issue. Also, we look at scrolling. We can call it doom scrolling, we can call it scrolling all day long. That is just the dopamine that is now being utilized so quickly in my mind that it's shorter and shorter the attention span. And so we need, more of a proclivity to keep our neurotransmitters, our mood regulators stacked, tapped, and in in use and always available. When we start to run the neurotransmitters down, the mood regulators down, we're looking at anxiety, we're looking at depression, we're looking at addictive behavior, correct? We're looking at
Yeah.
ruminating, which eventually is going to lead, ruminating is going to lead to paranoia, paranoia is going to lead to schizophrenia. And additionally, when we're looking at somebody that has a genetic variant of the NTHFR gene that cannot properly produce an effective enzyme that's going to convert synthetic folic acid into the active folate, we have a whole nother issue there, right?
Yep.
We're going to look at anxiety, depression, neurotransmitter, lack of production there,
Yeah.
and assimilation. So somebody, feeling high, feeling low, ruminating a lot, it's going to lead to paranoia. Most people that have the MTHFR TT, the most of the genetic polymorphism, the most of the worst of that MTHFR enzyme, the TT,
Yeah.
have a 76% greater risk of like high-end depression, and they have a 36% greater risk of developing schizophrenia. So if we go all the way back to our discussion on lesson one or part one, and talking about the importance of the B complex and the B vitamins and neurotransmitter production and adrenal gland support, saving way for all the other biochemical things that they're in charge of, those essential B vitamins, we're looking at stage one of keeping B vitamins in your system to prevent adrenal fatigue, prevent neurotransmitter, lack of production and assimilation, and being able to confidently use our serotonin, dopamine, acetylcholine, and GABA in an effective way. So if we're constantly firing too fast and the GABA is drained and we can't calm anything down
That's
with
true.
the excitatory stimulation, we're a hot mess. So we start with the B complex, we start with mental health awareness, diet, nutrition, sleep, exercise, and go from there, and knowing what we like to do on the side as far as gardening, yoga, spiritual attunement, whatever.
Amazing.
And we can really grasp into that because
Right.
1200 of the N-acetylcysteine curbing the depressive symptomology. 2400, that would be 1200 and 1200 twice a day,
Okay.
morning, afternoon. We're curbing the effects or curbing the symptomology of addictive compulsive behavior. So addictive behavior, whether
Amazing.
it be all of that.
Right. That's super important, Stacy. I appreciate even some dosing suggestions. We're not giving any medical advice.
Oh,
This is
sorry,
just
sorry, sorry.
general knowledge. No, you're just giving a
And those are in the
suggestion,
abstracts. Yeah, those
and
are in the clinical studies. That is what they've come across, and that's what's in Sangler in what we provided with the research that has been given. So thank you
absolutely.
for doing that, and just knowing that um, N-acetylcysteine is good for so many things. It's really
Yeah.
good reducing the inflammation that has been linked to psychiatric disorders, everyone, helping with the dopamine and the cell growth of, the brain cell growth,
Yeah.
and the brain, adaptability overall.
Right.
So
Emerald offers the NAC, and that was the perfect way to close it out. That's about the time that we have for now. I appreciate that, Stacy. And I was going to ask you for a summary, but you basically did that for us. We covered the B healthy, the B vitamin support, Cerebral Calm, the elevated mood formula, and now the NAC vegan version through Emerald, which is 600 milligrams per capsule. Some people have used the 2 capsules twice a day, depending on their situation. You can work with your doctor on that. But
one
one thing
capsule.
that's a good take home there is that NAC is not just for detox and liver support in the lungs. Really good, strong research looking at NAC for mental health as well, like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, depression, OCD, and other psychiatric disorders. And we'll have to leave it there for now. But I always appreciate you coming on, Stacy, and educating us. This is going to help a lot of people, and
Great.
it's going to give people a different thing to try in their mental health, stress,
Yeah.
potential depression formulas.
And
So
give feedback whenever we can. But one thing I note is not 2 capsules of elevated mood twice a day. It's
no,
one
no,
capsule.
the NAC,
Oh yeah, yes, yes. Twice a
the
day.
NAC, two
One,
capsules twice a day. Some people have used on that
yes,
one.
yes.
Yeah,
Thank
not the elevated mood or cerebral calm, folks.
thank you.
Keep that one in mind. That's the 600 milligram NAC capsules
Hmm.
through Emerald Labs. And we'll leave it there. And I look forward to our next one, Stacy. EmeraldLabs.com, folks. EmeraldLabs.com. Thank you,
Enjoy
Stacy.
the weekend ahead.
You too.
Bye.